We've been working since before the European referendum, in fact, on petitions around Brexit. Already ahead of the referendum, there were concerns, particularly in relation to voting rights, which remains one of the big questions outstanding. And clearly, with potentially 30 days ahead of a no-deal Brexit, the level of anxiety from citizens affected by Brexit is really intensifying, and our political volatility in the UK isn't helping. And I would also like to put it on record as well that the tone and the rhetoric of government secretaries of state when they're talking about free movement and about citizens' rights nationally, and particularly in party conferences, is also not helping people's levels of anxiety about what actually happens. So having said that, I think you laid out very well the various scenarios, but I have one comment for you, and later I'll be actually representing the petition of British in Europe and the 3 million in our petitions committee in the next point. So I'd like to raise their point rather than my own, and their point is essentially that ring fencing of citizens' rights is not a mini deal. Ring fencing of citizens' rights is actually about recognising that those citizens who have put their faith in the European project, who have taken advantage of free movement, who have shown their desire to take advantage of all of the benefits of our common European endeavour, that they are not punished by the situation that they find themselves in involuntarily, in many cases without having had a vote in the referendum, if they were EU citizens in the UK, or if they were UK citizens in the rest of the EU for longer than 15 years. That those people who actually should be our moral compass when it comes to Brexit shouldn't be considered in the same way that we consider aviation agreements or agreements about technical things at borders, because this is about people's lives, about their families, about their very security, and we see the levels of anxiety recorded amongst these groups of citizens are really it's very high, and they're really worrying, and that stress I think we should be taking very seriously. So I recognise there's been movement in terms of ring fencing. It would have been great if in Strasbourg we had, as a parliament, had come out and called for the ring fencing of citizens' rights for those reasons, I think. But my concern is that the proposal of unilateral initiatives on both sides doesn't in a way deal with the crux of the issue for citizens. If you think about the 3 million in the UK, their real concern is that they will be a future Windrush scandal, and that a future government will curtail the conditions included. There would be nothing in a unilateral initiative. How would you resolve disputes? I mean, how do you create a framework where if something happens, a future government changes the direction, that can be taken up? That would be one question to you. And then on the side of the British in Europe, what we're seeing is a patchwork of rights across the European Union and different treatment. It would be a really strong signal from the European Union to say that this should be harmonised across all 27 countries now, to send that signal that actually we are supportive of people who've used free movement in the way that it was intended to be used, to work, study, to fall in love, to have families, to set up their lives in other member states. Let's celebrate that European ideal. Instead of what we're seeing is that those who have taken advantage of it are finding themselves in a really crippling sense of anxiety about what comes to them potentially in 30 days' time. Thanks.